If you're here, you've probably seen the introduction, but let me repeat that basically what we do is we make you imagine if you could not only physically see, but actually feel your business challenges with your entire body. Imagine using this powerful new lens of touch and feel together with a step-by-step problem-solving methodology. This is what we are about to go into. So let's start by looking at this chart and trying to understand what it is. This is an answer to the most common questions about what the Business Black Belt methodology is about. So what it is, what's the science behind it, the typical applications, the different formats that I can give, who is it for specifically, what are the benefits, how is it, where we have operations and who are our typical clients, and then an in-depth look at how it works. So let's start with what is it. It's a niche. It's somewhere in between strategic consulting and team building because it's fun and at the same time it's useful. We're also using stress as a functional tool. What this means is we are creating strategy and tactics to reach those strategies under specially induced stress. We will look later why stress is important. It's inevitable, but we need it. So what we're doing is we're really not teaching you anything new, but we're giving you a new point of view on your business based on the principles and the values of martial arts. Once you will see life and business challenges through this lens, you will never look at things in the same way. We basically take all extreme scenarios so that you can actually calmly solve problems systematically under stress, and we induce the stress on purpose. So if we should put it in few words, what we're talking about is you give us, during the exploratory phase, your business challenges. We divide these business challenges in different scenarios that we will look at later, but we recreate them as physical challenges, as an altercation or a fight with rules, of course. Then you come up to a physical solution to this physical challenge representing your specific business challenge. And then, of course, this solution becomes a business solution, meaning that you get out of this seminar the very first time that you come into one of our sessions with an instrument for specific problem solving. Okay, let's go on. What's the science behind it? I don't know if any of you, I'm hopefully here, most people that are looking at this are in the HR department. You've probably heard about Lego Serious Play. If not, Lego Serious Play is now a private company, but this methodology was started from Lego years ago. What it is that you have to use your hands, which we know in our brain, they're much bigger than what they really are in comparison to our body. This is an accurate representation of how we see our body. So basically, our hands and our mouth are much bigger than they really are. This is because we use them continuously to try to understand, to feel, to solve problems. There are approximately 50 billion connections between the hands and the brain. So what happens is that we use Lego Serious Play, metaphorically, to solve problems with Lego by pointing to what we have done with the Lego and what that strategy represents. Now imagine if you could do that with your entire body. Your entire body has approximately 300 billion connections to your brain. So this is exactly what Business Black Belt does. By connecting with other people and by connecting with the representation of your problem made physical, you are helped in solving problems with 300 billion connections versus 50 billion. So it's like basically the Lego Serious Play methodology on steroids. Then we have the science of epigenetic, which basically means that the ambient and the way that we perceive the ambient and the way that we perceive our surroundings can turn genes on and off exactly like traffic lights, all right? So for this to happen, we need to use stress as a functional tool. Stress is inevitable, and as any psychologist worth his salt knows, you're not supposed to help your client by making him run away from his problems, but actually try to recreate them and in a step-by-step approach, face them, okay? Why? Because stress makes you alert and it helps you create solutions, all right? So we know that there's a certain curve of stress, this is called the Yerkes-Dodson curve, where there's an optimal point at which you are at your best chance to create solutions to your problems. Martial arts tries to keep you in this high productivity status regardless of the situation. Now, going back to what we were saying, given that this is on a genetical level, so given that we actually can turn on and off different genes, these genes, theoretically, actually, we know that this happens. These past experiences, they can go to the next generation. You pass them on to your children. So if you are able to, let's say, switch on the right genes of the right way to manage stress and to problem solve, that actually will benefit the future generation. What are the typical applications of this methodology? We work with companies mainly. We work sometimes with universities, and I'm starting now a course at the American School in Turin for children. But basically, we work at 99%. The methodology works for business. And the most common way that business black belt is contracted is to create an alignment with company values. Imagine what we were saying before, feeling, seeing, and bringing with 300 billion connections between your body and your brain, aligning your people, your employees with the company values at the genetic level. That has never been done before. Now, also, we can help people with their upwards career mobility, meaning that we actually can give them instruments to problem solve at different levels. Of course, strategy building, improving teamwork, especially post-acquisition or post-expansion of a company, we can help with synergies and finding out synergies between divisions and functions, so aligning those capacities. Conflict resolution, reaching specific targets, and by specific targets, we really mean specific targets. I need to increase sales by 15% between here and the end of the year. So this is very specific, that what we do. Outsmarting the competition, dealing with clients, and then in the case of universities, we work on the Harvard standards, basically working with business cases analysis. So we analyze them, we help them structure the way that the business case analysis will be considered. This is not limiting to this. So the more information, the more sophisticated information I get from HR department, and the more the tailor-made the seminar and the journey will be. So we have different formats. First of all, let's talk about people and kimonos. There's two different formats. Number one is what I call hands-on training. This is 90% of our business. And what we do is that everybody has to wear a kimono or not, depending if they want, but everybody has to participate hands-on. They have to fight. Now, let me tell you, we've been doing this for 8 years. Nobody has ever even broken a single fingernail. This is because any physical part is done just between you and our trained trainers and our certified trainers. So between you are never really involved in any physical altercation between you. Yet 100% of the participants are physically involved. This means that normally for a session which lasts between 3 and 8 hours, we have 10 to 40 participants. The kimonos can be rented or bought. For example, in the case of Enel, the Italian energy company, we can actually put your logos directly on the kimono, and that stays with you after that. Then there is another one, which is what I call the demonstration training. Here is in a university in Mexico. As you can see, we can have around 200 people. I've had, for example, up to 2,000 people in Kiev before the war in Ukraine, where people receive this kind of information. They see it going on. We do a demonstration. This is one of my certified trainers. And about 10% of participants can be physically involved. So we get people from the audience to participate and try it out. Yes, so between 10 and 25 people can participate. Now, what about the days, okay? So we can have a one day or multi-day. Let's say you have 100 people. So we take it down and we break it into 2 groups, and we give the exact same thing in 2 different groups in 2 different days. So about 40 people each. And then we have a tailor-made journey. This is more typical for us. So what happens is that we define the topics with HR during a certain amount of time. Let's say it can take from anything from 1 week to 3 or 4 months to define exactly what we do. Then the heart of the whole thing is the physical day, the day where we all try and see and feel on our body these recreated business challenges that you have. And then after that, I have individual sessions, or my certified psychologists have individual sessions with each of the participants to see and to monitor how they are applying the instruments and the methodology that they learned during the heart of the thing, which is the seminar. After that, we can have an online plenary session where we just, let's say, summarize the whole journey and what we have learned. Or we can have what I call the corrective seminar, meaning that we do the same thing that we had here after the individual sessions, after a new revision with HR, to do some corrections and once again do it on a physical level so that it gets anchored to a deeper level. Facilities. We can have big meeting rooms. All we need really is about 50 square meters every 20 people. We can have hotel conference rooms, or in the case, for example, in Italy, we go to agriturismo, which is nice hotels that also give facilities. This is during when companies go out and try to figure out what are their strategies and so on. They want to do it outside of, typical business surroundings. So who is it for? Normally we work with middle to top management across functions and across divisional units. It's for students in the case of the MBA, and now I'm creating a special program for schools. And this is very important. Anyone, regardless of sex, age, or body weight, they can do this. Nobody has ever got hurt. We are certified in doing what we do, and we know what amount of counter strength we need to apply to each one of you in order for you to feel what you need to feel in order to come up with the instruments that you need to come up with. Okay. So what are some of the benefits? First of all, it's easy to create clear strategies. Why? Because there are no cultural or, language barriers, because this is felt on a physical, thus DNA level. Remember the 300 billion connections. So it is very clear for everyone. Everybody is aiming at the same very small target and understands what they have to do and where they're going and what are the steps. Again, talking about languages, most international companies have their own interpretation of values and strategies due to language, culture, mood, and past experiences. Here, we're speaking a common language, and that is the language of martial arts. So it's very easy to understand. Also, personally, I have a cross-industry experience, so I can easily create and have benchmarks for your specific area, for your specific industry. I have experience in tobacco, in industrial automation, in real estate, so I can easily apply my business cases to relate to yours. I'm also fluent in 6 different languages and can deliver the seminar in any of these languages: English, Spanish, Russian, Italian, French, and Portuguese. I had, let's say, this unique blend of being an ex-professional fighter during my young years and as a businessman with corporate experience. I can relate to what I'm teaching in the seminar, and I can help you strategize accordingly. So overall, this means that I can bring improved collaboration amongst your employees to reach your goals with this very innovative problem-solving methodology. So how is it? Well, it's fun because, participants enjoy a very joyful atmosphere of the games and scenarios we create. They learn as they have fun. It's original. Nobody has ever done something like this before. Approaching problems in life will truly transform you if you do it with this way, if you do it with your entire body, you amplify what you learn by experiencing it with your body. Most importantly, I think this is the most important part, is actionable. So you get into your day or multiple days with specific problems, and you get out from the seminar with specific and multiple solutions to the problems you decided to address during the seminar. It's inclusive. As I said, anybody can do it, regardless of any type of body, of age, of level of fitness, and so on. It's safe. Nobody has ever got hurt. And as we will see later, and we saw a little before, because of epigenetics, by utilizing stress to the participant's advantage, your DNA expression changes, truly transforming you at the genetical level. So our operations are mainly in Mexico, Russia, and Italy. Unfortunately, in Russia, after the beginning of the war in 2022, we have basically stopped. We are still working a little bit with University of Skolkovo, but this has been limited now. Mexico, this is where we started. We opened in 2016, and as you can see, we're working with huge international clients such as Citibank, Banamex. We've been working for them for over 5 years now. We work with Sanofi, with Novartis, with Vertiv. So we have a lot of different and types of industry and clients that we work with. For example, for Beiersdorf, the owners of Nivea, we work in their sales team. With Citibank, we work with their management team, and so on. When it comes to Italy, we just started at the end of 2021. And we're working with different companies now. Here you see the main ones, but Enel being the biggest one, the energy company, SKF and Flenco Fluid System, amongst others, such as the group Kering, the owners of Gucci brand. Those are actually not in Italy; they are in France. So we work with other countries as well. All right, now this is the most important part. How does it work? Stress as a functional tool. So as we said, we do not try to avoid stress, we welcome stress, we recreate stress under a safe environment. All right? So what can we do with stress? We can either suffer it. If we take, for example, pre-COVID situation, 76% of employees of AAA companies were working in burnout situation. Imagine after COVID, so in the last 3 years, and the war starting in Ukraine, I guess that this is somewhere around 90% of people working under burnout situations. This means that you have unhealthy employees, both at a psychological and physiological state. And you can have results for sure, but these results are unhealthy and unsustainable in the long run. So what we say is that instead of suffering this burnout, our vehicle is martial arts in order to use it to our advantage and towards a sustainable business practice. Martial arts can be summarized in 3 different parts. The AAA, basically, anticipate, align, and act. What I mean by anticipate is you need to anticipate what your adversary is about to do or what your companion is about to do, yes? This works in business as well. Now, in order to anticipate, you need to have specific knowledge and you need to be an expert. Now, here, in this case, you don't need to be an expert. I'm the expert, and I'm going to give you that, let's say, summary and transformation to your specific move, to your specific business case, to your specific business challenge in order to anticipate what's about to happen. You will feel it on your body. No martial art necessary, but you need to anticipate what your problem will cause in order to stop it. Then you need to align a series of answers. A series of answers does not mean a series of reactions. Reactions is what you do instinctively. Answers is what you do once you learn the methodology and once you learn the principles of martial arts in order to employ minimum effort for maximum result. Also, I will teach you that. And the most important thing, you need to act, because as Napoleon said, regardless how beautiful the strategy, sometimes you need to look at the results as well. So if you do not act in a physical altercation, you will lose. Now, sometimes, especially in big companies, people are reluctant to act because they don't want finger pointing after they have done something. Here, we teach you to act with the best anticipation and aligning of answers and responses possible, but you must act. Okay, so this of course means that we will have improved health both on the physiological and psychological point of view. And this is how the methodology works. Methodology works in two ways, a subconscious way and a conscious way. For the subconscious way, we've already seen the behavioral epigenetics idea, which is the fact that the amygdala is the most primitive part in the brain, which is responsible for fight or flight, but it's also responsible for long-term memory and association. We're going to specifically stimulate the amygdala, which is what martial arts do. And when the amygdala is creating proteins in that moment, you will create useful associations, and that will be ingrained in your long-term memory, all right? So in order to do that, this is why 99% of the cases we try to make you wear kimonos. Even better if you get the kimono with your logo, because that psychologically prepares you to face the fears as a team and using all the same colors and all the same predisposition, subconscious predisposition. This is why we use the kimonos. All right. Now, conscious part and what we do. All right. So this is basically, it works in three parts. We have rules, and those rules are positional rules. So during the day or multiple days, you will have to gain positions, and some positions means that you will lose points. Other positions will mean that you gain points. You will work both as an individual and as a team, and you will help each other solve problems whenever it's needed as a team, and understanding what is that you have to do together with your companions. Also, there are ethical rules. You need respect, since we're still fighting and you could hurt us. We will never hurt you. We never hurt anybody. But we teach you certain attack situation as well. So you will have to understand that when we tap or when we give up, you need to stop. That creates a very strong camaraderie between you and also us. You need to have courage, because each one of you is going to go there individually and do something that you are not used to do. This creates a whole idea of having integrity as a person, as a group, as a company. All right. Now, we work into 4 business situations: adversities, reaching specific targets, working with your team, and marketplace. By marketplace, I really mean anticipating certain moves of the market. But the market could be an internal market. Let's say I am marketing and you are production. I need to sell you my idea. I need to think forward and know how you will react and what you will say in order to sell you my idea. So the marketplace could be also an internal marketplace. It's basically anticipating moves, all right? So we always work with the pre and post scenario. What happens is that, first of all, you define what are your adversities, what are your targets, what are your teamwork problematics or lack of synergies, and what you're trying to do within the market or within your company. And then we recreate this into a physical altercation. So you will go against us and you will fail in fighting against your adversities, in trying to reach your specific targets. For example, in the targets, you will have an advantage position because you already know what the target is, and you will have to try to submit us with a specific move at a specific place, which my specialists will ensure that without getting hurt, you will fail in doing so. So this is the pre-scenario. Then what happens is that you have a discussion with your team on why you failed and what happened. Then we will teach you to apply one of the 32 principles of martial arts that I have come up with. Some principles are philosophical and some are, say, mechanical principles. This is not important right now, but basic what these principles are, they give you an instrument in order to respond instead of reacting to any given extreme situation. So then once we teach you, let's say 5 or 6 of these 32 principles in one of the 3 or 4 adversities that you will look into that day, then you go back with your team, you'd feel it on your body. You will feel that with minimum effort, before you had a lot of effort and you failed, now with minimal effort, you will actually win. And you will be able to get out of an uncomfortable situation or to submit one of my experts in a very specific way, or to collaborate with your team to get to a certain advantageous position, or to anticipate what your adversary is about to do just by feeling it, because you will have applied 5 to 6 principles to your adversity, targets, teamwork, or marketplace. After that, you will have another discussion of how to apply these principles to your specific adversity, target, teamwork, or marketplace. All right? So substantially, this is how the methodology works. Nobody has ever done something like this. This is unique. This is powerful. This is fun. And this is life-changing. Thank you for listening to this explanation. Best regards.